So today I decided to try to do something different. So I did a voiceover for this harvest video instead of just talking straight through it. I've been spending some intentional spiritual time in the garden, and so I wanted to make the video for you guys, but also be able to hold the connection with the earth like I've been practicing. I'm harvesting a few things today, herbs being the first thing, which is at the very, very front of my garden. Not only are herbs good for cooking, but they are good for lots and lots of medicinal purposes. It really has been a focus for me in 2025 is to harvest and use the things that I grow. I want to build up an apothecary so that in the wintertime, not so much in the summer do I drink the tea, although I discovered that I'm able to chill the tea and it's been amazing. But not only am I able to make some tea with it, but I also want to get into making some tinctures, some salves, maybe some cough syrup, and so forth. That was so satisfying to pick all of those herbs. It's been a long time coming, y'all. I know I needed to do it. Don't let your herbs go to waste. Go ahead and pick them. So now, moving on to the strawberries. This is my strawberry patch. These are June bearing strawberries. If you haven't been with me for a while, I get a flush of strawberries in June. This patch is, I consider it to be on the larger size for the amount of space that I garden in. And I've been picking strawberries for weeks. I probably have hundreds of strawberries that I've been picking. June bearing strawberries are good for making jams. They are good for maybe making strawberry wine, which is what people have been asking me to make. And they have been good for making anything, pastries or whatnot, anything that you would make in an abundance. So if you are a prepper, if you are somebody who likes to can, then the Juneberry strawberries are good for that. I find that they aren't as sweet as some other varieties that I've tried. That's what I will say about the Juneberry strawberries. But I do like them. See? And they are pretty. And if you let them get dark red, they do get sweet. Now, what I will say is if you have your strawberries in the ground like this and you get a lot of rain, then I find that putting down some slug and snail bait is the best way to minimize the amount of damage you have because them slugs and snails be after these strawberries, y'all. If they are in the ground, they are after the strawberries. If you guys have any tips on how I might be able to slow down the slugs besides the beer traps, I know that works really well, and the bait works really well, and those are the two things that I've done. Another thing that I do is sometimes I harvest my strawberries a little bit early. So instead of letting them get dark red where they would be the sweetest, because if I'm making a pie or something like that, I'm likely going to add some kind of sweetener to them anyway. I'll harvest them at a light red and then I can just wait for them to ripen up in the refrigerator, which they do, which is something that I actually discovered by accident. So I was pretty excited to discover that. And I don't find that they're more or less sweet whether I pull them off when they're bright red or pull them off when they are dark red. So, that's what I do with my strawberries. I did just buy some everbearing strawberries, which are the ones that bloom all season. And so I'm excited to start a different patch for those. But I'm going to leave these here. Now, after they are done producing, the June bearing strawberries do start to send out a lot of runners. And what I found is if I want to minimize a lot of rot and disease, I do need to prune the leaves. But the nice thing about pruning the leaves is that strawberry leaves are very good to make a tea. So I pruned a bunch of leaves and I dried them out. It only took like 2 or 3 days for them to dry. My kitchen was a mess while they were drying because I had pulled so many or picked so many that I didn't really have a ton of space for them, but it was well worth it to do so that I can have strawberry leaf tea in the fall or the winter time. I might actually even make some strawberry leaf iced tea. I am, if I can remember, going to put the benefits from what I read on the screen in this video so that you guys will know. That's what I research as always. I don't know if it works or not. What I do know is that it smelled delicious. The leaves did smell delicious while they were drying. And then that I'm excited to add them to my other herbs. So that's June bearing strawberries. That's what I know about them. That's how they grow. And so, really, I'll just be moving on to the next thing after I harvest these. So now we're on to our pepper plants. It is a weedy, grassy mess over here, you guys. So as a reminder, if you haven't watched this video, or if you haven't been watching me for a while, sorry about that camera, y'all. I'm trying to get my tripod together. I put these pepper plants in sunken containers. So a sunken container is when you cut out the bottom of a nursery pot, you add some nutrient soil or some less dense soil in my case, is why I did it. And then you can go ahead and plant your pepper in the nursery pot that's cut out at the bottom. And what happens is by the time that plant develops from a seedling to a full-size plant, it will get its nutrients way deep down in the soil that maybe it's not so great, but it allows the plant to get established before it reaches that thick clay soil. So I learned this method from Gary from the Rustic Garden. He had done his peppers like this, and because I grow in a small space, I thought that I would try and do the same. It has proven to turn out well, you guys. I don't need my peppers to be huge plant. I know it may not give me the maximum amount of space, but it does allow my plants to grow bigger, get the nutrients that they need without taking up a large footprint. So while I'm harvesting, I might as well get this little bit of giant red mustard green. Try not to leave anything behind. This plant volunteered on its own and it's just kind of been sitting. I've been letting it do its thing. But the leaves get big relatively quickly. So since it's growing in my potato patch and it seems to be doing well, I'm going to take it. By the way, these potatoes that grew in here, the larger ones, the one to the left of the screen might be the right of your screen. That large plant is a volunteer and that's why it's so much bigger than the rest. Now, normally my green peas don't even make it in the house. I prefer to grow sugar snap peas, so that's what these are. They are growing in abundance, and so I'm gonna pick them. And if I only get a couple handfuls or maybe a half of 1 gallon, half a gallon during the season, I'll go ahead and save them and freeze them and make some stir fry. So sorry that I walked past the camera like that, put my butt in the screen, y'all. But at any rate, these peas are doing very well. I plant them in the same spot every year. I'm not going to rip the plants out this year. I am going to cut them down and let them release the nitrogen back into the soil. And then in this place, these peas are fizzing out, and I normally plant green beans right here, plant a row of green beans. Because guess what, y'all? When you know better, you do better. And so I'll try to have these peas give me some nitrogen and just enjoying the day. A small harvest, lots of people talk about getting huge harvests. I need a huge harvest. I need a huge basket full all at once. For me, I'm okay with getting a small harvest at a time and adding to it throughout the season because if I need to freeze or preserve or something like that, then I don't get overwhelmed. The last thing that I want to do is get, 3 baskets of green peas, although green peas are not a good example because I would freeze those anyway, but maybe get 3 baskets of something that I have to do something with. And so let's just say strawberries, since I've been picking a lot of those. And having to wash them, making sure that the bugs are not on them, taking all the time. And normally for me, I'm doing several projects throughout the day, and I don't want to spend like a whole long time on trellising. I'm not trellising. Think about trellising my tomatoes, y'all. On preserving when I can just do 30 minutes here, 45 minutes there of a project. And that's really how I structured my garden this year and got everything that I wanted to get done. I won't say that I planted every single thing, but the things that were most important to me, I was able to get done. And so I am grateful for that. Oh my goodness, y'all. I've done so much harvesting today. Peas, strawberries, herbs, um, mustard greens. I mean, it has been just such a wonderful and peaceful day. I appreciate you all watching. Happy Father's Day. I'll do a garden tour in a couple of weeks. I have so many things to show you. I just, there's a lot going on out here. Once the rain goes and it warms up, you know, gardens want to grow. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye for now.